Have you ever felt that your life is a whirlwind of chaos, that you are at the mercy of forces you cannot control? One day, the current carries you toward a shore of unexpected success. The next, a whirlpool of bad luck drags you to the bottom. Most people live this way, like a drowning navigator in an invisible river. They are perpetually confused, frightened, battered by currents they cannot see and do not understand. Others, in their desperate attempt to take control, have adopted the philosophy of force. They have become frantic rowers. They spend their lives fighting the river, rowing with all their willpower against the current of their circumstances. They are exhausted, stressed, and even though they move forward, they feel that for every meter they advance, the river drags them 2 meters back. This audiobook has reached you to reveal a forbidden truth. The universe is that river. It is a river of creation, a torrent of infinite power, energy, and potential. And your mistake has never been a lack of effort. Your mistake has been not understanding the map. Your bad luck is not chance. They are currents you haven't learned to read. Your struggle is not necessary. It is the result of trying to row against the current. This is the secret manual of the Quantum Navigator. It will not teach you to fight the river. It will teach you to understand its 7 hidden currents. You will discover the immutable laws that govern the flow of reality. These laws, known in antiquity as the Hermetic principles, are the physics of consciousness. They are the currents that, when ignored, create chaos, but when understood and used, become your engine. Chapter 1. The river is mental, the law of substance. You have been conditioned since birth to believe in the tyranny of matter. You have been indoctrinated in the religion of the physical. You believe in the solidity of the chair you sit on, the finality of the bill you hold, the hardness of the wall you hit against. You believe that the river of your life is real, objective, and that you are a small entity of consciousness, floating within it, separated from it. You believe you are the navigator, and that the river is an external foreign force. This is the great illusion. It is the lie that keeps you drowning. The universe is not a collection of things. It is not a vast mechanism of solid objects. Cutting-edge science, quantum physics, has arrived after a long and arduous journey at the same conclusion that mystics knew intuitively millennia ago. Matter does not exist. If you were to take the most solid object in your world, a rock, your own body, and magnify it beyond the molecule, beyond the atom, beyond the electron, you would find no thing whatsoever. You would only find a vibrating void, an ocean of energy and information, a field of pure potentiality. The universe is not a collection of things, nouns. It is a symphony of events, verbs. The river of creation is not made of water. It is made of consciousness. Ancient Hermetic wisdom, the source of all this forbidden metaphysics, summarized it in a single law. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This is not a poetic philosophy. It is the technical description of reality. Consciousness as cause, the projector of reality. If the universe is merely a formless field of energy, a river of pure potential, what is it that gives it form? What is it that takes that energy and collapses it into the reality of a chair, a bill, or an illness? The answer is the second part of this revelation, your consciousness. Your consciousness is not a byproduct of your brain, a passive witness that simply watches the river flow by. Your consciousness is the most active and potent creative force in the cosmos. It is the light that projects the image and the projector itself. The ancient axiom, as it is within, so it is without, is not a self-help wish. It is the universe's instruction manual. The outer world is nothing more than a perfect mirror of your inner world. The river is not happening to you. The river is reflecting you. Your state of being, the sum total of your habitual thoughts, beliefs, and above all your feelings, is the blueprint that the river of consciousness is obligated to obey. Your physical reality is the printout of your consciousness. The tragedy of the frantic rower, and here lies the root of all your struggle. Here lies the reason why your effort fails. You have been acting under the illusion of the myth of external control. You believe that, to change your life, you must row harder, fighting against the currents. You try to change your reflection in the water by shouting at it, hitting it or pleading with it. You fight your debts. You combat your illness. You work hard to change your reality. All of this is the act of a madman trying to scrub a mirror to clean his face. It is exhausting, frustrating, and futile. You cannot change an effect, material reality, by fighting it. You can only change it by going to the cause, your consciousness. The forbidden metaphysics is this simple secret: stop rowing. Your job is not to fight the river. Your job is to change the mental state that is creating the river you experience. The allegory, mental of the projector. Imagine your life is a movie projected onto a giant screen. You have been watching a horror movie, a story of scarcity, struggle, and pain. In your amnesia, you believe you are a helpless viewer. You yell at the screen, hide from the shadows, and pray for the movie to end. Then, you become a frantic rower. You get up from your seat, run to the screen, and try to fight the image of the monster. You try to paint a sun over the storm scene, but the image doesn't change because the film keeps projecting. The awakening is the moment you stop looking at the screen. You turn around, and for the first time you realize there is a projector behind you, and you realize, with blood-chilling awe, that you are in the projection booth. The horror movie is not an external attack. It is the real that you have been projecting, out of habit, programming, and forgetfulness. The first law, the river is mental, is this 180-degree turn. It is the act of stopping obsessing over the screen, the world, and turning your attention to the projector, your consciousness. The illusion of separation, the wave and the ocean. You have been conditioned to believe that you are a discrete entity, an individual self, a solitary navigator in your small boat, your body, floating upon a vast, impersonal, external river, the universe. In this paradigm, life is a struggle, the navigator against the river. You, a small point of consciousness, against the cosmos, a vast, indifferent machine. This is the illusion of separation. It is the source of all fear. It is the lie that keeps you rowing frantically, believing that if you stop fighting, the external river will destroy you. The forbidden truth is this: there are no two. There is no navigator and river. The navigator is made of the same substance as the river. Quantum physics calls it the unified field. Ancient wisdom called it the universal mind, or the all. The universe is not a collection of things. It is a single thing, a vast and infinite ocean of consciousness vibrating at different frequencies. You are not a boat in the river. You are a wave of the river. Your individual consciousness is not something you have. It is something the universe is. Your consciousness is the universal mind, the consciousness of the river, having a focused experience of itself. You are the totality of the ocean, experiencing itself as a temporary wave. The collapse of struggle. The moment this truth penetrates beyond your logical mind and is felt in your being, the struggle collapses. The frantic rower stops. Why? Because they realize the absurdity of their effort, a wave rowing against the ocean, a wave trying to go faster than the ocean. A wave fearing the ocean, without realizing that it is the ocean. All your stress, all your struggle, all your effort to control your life is nothing more than the act of a wave fighting against the tide that is creating it. It is a civil war against your own being. The drowning navigator is not drowning in the river. He is drowning in the illusion that he is separated from it. The fear of death, the fear of failure, the fear of scarcity, all are based on the erroneous belief that the wave can be destroyed, forgetting that its substance, the water, the consciousness, is eternal and infinite. The nature of your power, the creator of the whirlpool. This brings us back to the question, if I am the river, why is the river around me chaotic? If I am the universal mind, why is my life a mess? Because the universal mind is not a dictator, it is a mirror. And the law of correspondence, which we will explore in the next chapter, states that the vast river, the macrocosm, must reflect the nature of the focused wave, your microcosm. You, as a focal point of consciousness, have one power, the power of attention and feeling. When your attention and feeling are in a state of chaos, fear, doubt, resentment, your vibration is a dissonant whirlpool. And the river of creation, in its impersonal obedience, can do nothing but reflect that whirlpool. It brings you more chaotic circumstances that perfectly match your internal state. The river is not hostile. It is obedient. It is giving you exactly what you are projecting. The rocks and whirlpools of your bad luck are not attacks from the river. They are the creation of the wave. They are the wake of your own mental boat. The allegory, mental, of the vortex. Imagine the river of consciousness as a vast expanse of calm water. Your consciousness, when born, is like a small vortex that begins to spin in that water. At first, the vortex is pure, aligned with the calm of the river. But then, the veil of forgetfulness falls. The invisible ink, chapter 2 from the previous manual, teaches you the grammar of fear, and your vortex learns to spin in the opposite direction from the river. It begins to spin with the frequency of contraction, of no, of resistance. This reverse spin creates immense friction. It is your stress. It is your anxiety. It is the feeling of being stuck. And this friction, this chaotic vortex, draws to itself all the debris floating in the river, the negative circumstances, the conflicting people, the events of bad luck. Not because you are bad, but because the physics of the vortex demands it. The forbidden metaphysics is not learning to create a new river. It is the art of stopping spinning in reverse. It is the art of relaxing your consciousness, letting go of the grammar of fear, and allowing your personal vortex to begin spinning once again in harmony with the great flow of the universal river. Chapter 2. The reflection in the water, the law of correspondence. This law is not poetic philosophy. It is the physics of the river of creation. It states that your outer world, the outside, the below, is a perfect, infallible, and unforgiving reflection of your inner world, the inside, the above. Your internal consciousness, the sum total of your thoughts, beliefs, and above all your habitual feelings, your program, is the object. Your physical reality, your health, your relationships, your bank account, is the reflection. The universe is not giving you your reality, it is reflecting it to you. The river is not attacking you with chaos, it is showing you, with impeccable precision, the chaos that you hold within. The navigator's tragedy, fighting the mirror. And here lies the root of all your struggle. Here lies the reason why your effort fails. You have been living as the Frantic Rower, introduction. You have been trying to change your life using forced action. You fight your debts, working harder. You combat your illness, attacking the symptoms. You try to find love, searching frantically. But what is this forced action? It is the act of a madman trying to change the reflection in the mirror. You stand facing the river of your life, seeing a distorted, chaotic reflection. And in your panic, you grab your oars and start hitting the water. You try to row to smooth out the reflection. You try to fight the image of scarcity. You try to capture the image of love. And what happens? Every strike of your oar, your struggle, your effort, your anxiety, only creates more ripples, more chaos. And the reflection becomes even more distorted, more terrifying. Your own struggle against bad luck is the act that perpetuates it. You are creating more of the same chaotic vibration that generated the reflection in the first place. The veil of the senses, from the previous project, but the concept is universal, has convinced you that the reflection, the material world, is the cause, and that you are the effect. The forbidden metaphysics reveals the truth. You are the cause. The river is only the reflection. Bad luck as divine obedience. This revelation is the true aha moment. Your bad luck is not proof that the universe has abandoned you. It is the irrefutable proof that the universe is obeying you perfectly. The river, the universal mind, is impersonal. It does not judge. It has no favorites. Its only function is to be a perfect mirror. If your internal state is one of fear, the river must reflect a terrifying world back to you. If your internal frequency is one of scarcity, the river must reflect bills and lack back to you. If your internal belief is, I am not worthy, the river must orchestrate people and events that treat you as if you are unworthy. The river cannot betray its own nature. It cannot reflect a sun back to you if you are projecting a storm. Your bad luck is, in fact, the testimony of your unconscious creative power. It is proof that the law works. This is not a tragedy. This is your liberation. Because if you are the cause of the chaotic reflection, it means you can change that reflection. But you don't do it by hitting the water. You do it by stopping rowing, stopping looking at the reflection, and turning toward the only place where change is possible, inward. The allegory, mental, of the vortex. In Chapter 1, we said your consciousness was a vortex in the river. The law of correspondence explains how that vortex works. A vortex, your state of being, has a frequency. By the law of fluid physics and quantum physics, that vortex can only attract matter and energy that resonates with its own speed and direction of spin. A chaotic, fearful vortex, your old program, is a left-spinning whirlpool. It inevitably attracts the debris of scarcity and conflict, which are also spinning left. A coherent, peaceful vortex, your new state, is a right-spinning whirlpool. It attracts by the same law the grace of abundance and synchronicity, which spin right. Luck is simply a matter of vibrational physics. You are attracting the correspondence of your own spin. The four planes of the river, the chain of creation. The universe operates on multiple planes of existence that interpenetrate, all corresponding to one another. For our purposes, the river of creation flows through four major planes, from above, the most subtle, to below, the most dense. The spiritual plane, highest up, the source. This is the plane of pure being. It is the universal mind, unified consciousness, the quantum field. It is the absolutely calm mountain lake. It is pure potentiality. It is the I am. On this plane, everything is perfect, everything is possible, everything is. There is no scarcity, no disease, no fear. It is the source from which all reality springs. The mental plane, the design. This is the first level of form. It is where pure consciousness turns into thought and belief. It is the plane of the architect. This is where the master blueprint of your reality is drawn. It is where your inherited script, from the previous project, and your new intentions, which we will learn to forge, compete for dominance. This plane defines the what of your creation, the emotional vibrational plane, the power. This is the plane of feeling. It is the current of the river. A thought, from the mental plane, is just a blueprint. It is cold, inert. For that blueprint to be built, it needs energy. Feeling is that energy. It is the magnetic force, the fuel that takes a thought and gives it the power to manifest. This plane defines the power and quality of your creation. The physical plane, lowest down. The reflection. This is the final plane, the densest. It is the world of your five senses. It is your body, your bank account, your relationships. This plane creates nothing. It is the pool at the bottom of the waterfall. It is the cinema screen. It is the final result, the solidified reflection of what has happened on the three higher planes. The chain of creation, why your struggle fails. And here lies the fundamental revelation of the law of correspondence. Creation always flows from above to below. Energy flows from spirit, is shaped by mind, is charged by emotion, and finally manifests in matter. The tragedy of humanity, the source of all struggle, is that we have been conditioned to try to create in reverse. We live hypnotized by the veil of the senses, from the previous project. We are obsessed with the physical plane, the below. We try, with forced action, frantic rowing, to change the physical plane, hoping that this will change our emotional and mental state. If I get the money, physical plane, then I will feel peaceful, emotional plane. If I eliminate the symptom, physical plane, then I will believe I am healthy, mental plane. You are trying to make the pool at the bottom of the waterfall clean the mountain lake. You are trying to make the screen change the film in the projector. It is a physical impossibility. It is the recipe for a life of exhaustion and frustration. The diagnosis of the blockage, bad luck as a symptom. The law of correspondence, as it is above so it is below, is the most accurate diagnostic tool that exists. It allows you to stop looking at the symptom, your bad luck, and find the true disease, the blockage. Your bad luck on the physical plane, the dirty pool, is the irrefutable proof that there is a blockage on one of the higher planes. The mental blockage, a faulty blueprint. Is your life a recurring pattern of scarcity? The problem is not your job, physical plane. The problem is your blueprint, mental plane. It is your inherited script, your subconscious belief that says, money is hard or I am unworthy. As long as that faulty blueprint is active in the above, the universe, the river, is obliged by law to reflect scarcity in the below. The emotional blockage, a contaminated current. Do you have a clear intention, a good mental blueprint, but nothing happens? The blockage is on the emotional plane. Your thought says abundance, but your vibration, your habitual feeling, is fear and doubt. The energy charging your blueprint is chaotic and dissonant. It is the water flowing from the lake, but getting contaminated with poison, fear, before reaching the pool. The universe, upon receiving this contradictory vibration, can only manifest more conflict and stagnation. Your bad luck is not a punishment. It is the diagnosis the river is giving you. It is telling you exactly where in the higher planes of your consciousness the blockage resides. Illness in your body, below, is the correspondence of a sustained thought of fear or resentment, above. Loneliness in your life, below, is the correspondence of a belief in separation, above. The allegory, mental, of the waterfall. Imagine pure consciousness, spiritual plane, as a vast, crystal-clear, perfect mountain lake at the top of a volcano. The mental plane is the first channel through which this pure water begins to descend. If this channel, your beliefs, is filled with sharp rocks and dirt, negative programming, the water already starts to get dirty. The emotional plane is the next stage, a series of rapids. If your state is one of fear and anxiety, it is as if the water is falling over a chaotic cliff, becoming turbulent, aerated and full of debris, incoherent energy. The physical plane is the pool at the foot of the mountain, where the water finally settles. You have spent your whole life trying with a bucket to clean the mud from the pool, physical plane. The forbidden metaphysics tells you, put down the bucket. The problem is not in the pool, walk up the mountain. Your job is not to clean the effect. It is to clean the channel, your beliefs, and calm the rapids, your emotions, so that the water reaching the pool is, finally, the crystalline reflection of the source. Chapter 3. Perpetual Motion, the Law of Vibration. Now we must understand what replaces it. If the universe is not a collection of solid things, what is it? It is energy. It is an infinite ocean of energy, vibrating at different speeds. The only difference between the most subtle thought and the hardest rock is its frequency. The rock is energy vibrating at an incredibly slow and dense frequency. It is a musical note so low it has become tangible. Your thought is the same energy, but vibrating at an incredibly fast and subtle frequency. Your body is the bridge, a spectrum of frequencies, from the density of bone to the subtlety of a nerve impulse. The universe is not a collection of objects. It is a musical scale. It is a symphony of vibrations. And you are not a body that has consciousness. You are a consciousness that is vibrating at a frequency dense enough to appear as a body. You are music. Now the law of correspondence, chapter 2, takes on a new meaning. If the universe is a symphony of vibrations, how does the reflection work? It works through the law of resonance. Resonance is a simple principle of physics. Like attracts like. If you have two perfectly tuned violins in a room and you pluck the A string on one, the A string on the other, violin will begin to vibrate on its own. Not because you touched it, but due to sympathetic resonance. The second string cannot help but respond to the frequency that is its equal. You are the first violin. The river of creation is the second. Your state of being, the sum total of your thoughts, beliefs, and above all, your habitual emotions, is the note you are playing, the frequency you are emitting, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The universe, the river, which is an infinite field of all possible notes, health, sickness, abundance, scarcity, does not judge you. Simply, by the law of physics, it resonates with you. If the dominant note you emit is that of lack and fear, a low, chaotic frequency, the universe by law must vibrate people, events, and circumstances in your experience that resonate with that same frequency. It brings you more reasons to be afraid. If the dominant note you emit is that of trust and gratitude, a high, coherent frequency, the universe by law must vibrate people, events, and circumstances in your experience that harmonize with that frequency. It brings you more reasons to be grateful. Bad luck is simply the experience of being stuck in sympathetic resonance with the frequency of lack. Good luck is the experience of entering sympathetic resonance with the frequency of abundance. Fortune is not something you have, it is something you tune into. The chemistry of vibration. This frequency is not an abstract idea. It is a biochemical reality in your body. Your vibration is the chemistry you produce. Low frequencies, contraction. These are the vibrations of bad luck dissonance. They are survival emotions. Fear, anxiety. This frequency screams to your body, danger. Your body obeys and releases cortisol and adrenaline. This is the chemistry of contraction. Your blood vessels close, your digestion halts, your immune system turns off. It is a dense, chaotic survival vibration. Anger, resentment. This is the frequency of attack. It releases inflammatory chemistry. Guilt, shame. This is the frequency of self-destruction, a command for self-attack. When you habitually live in these frequencies, your body is in a state of chronic contraction. You are out of tune. And by the law of resonance, the river of creation can only reflect events that match contraction. Doors closing, opportunities lost, conflicts. High frequencies, expansion. These are the vibrations of good luck, harmony. They are creative emotions. Gratitude, appreciation. This frequency tells your body, I am safe, I have enough. Your body obeys and releases the elixir of healing, oxytocin, serotonin. This is the chemistry of expansion. Your blood vessels open, your digestion activates, your immune system functions perfectly. Love, compassion, this is the frequency of unity. Joy, this is the frequency of reception. When you inhabit these frequencies, your body is in a state of coherent expansion. You are in tune. And by the law of resonance, the river of creation must reflect events that match expansion. Doors opening, synchronicities, Chapter 3, Health and Flow. The radio receiver. Imagine the universe is a vast radio tower, transmitting all frequencies simultaneously. On 88.1 FM, there is the panic and scarcity radio. Its music is dissonant, chaotic, full of static. On 107.7 FM, there is the abundance and peace radio. Its music is clear, harmonic, and beautiful. You are the radio receiver, and your habitual state of being is the dial. Most people are born with the dial fixed by the inherited script on 88.1 FM. They have listened to the static of fear and scarcity for so long that they have come to believe it is the only music that exists. They spend their lives trying to enjoy the static or complaining about it. The awakening is the moment you realize you have a hand on the dial. Positive thinking is the act of listening to 88.1 FM, scarcity, while trying to hum the song of 107.7 FM. It is a futile effort. Forbidden metaphysics is the art of deliberately changing the dial. It is the art of consciously tuning into the frequency of 107.7 FM, the frequency of fortune. The anatomy of being stuck. Your bad luck is not an event. It is a habit. It is a frequency you have practiced so diligently that it has become your default state of being, your dominant note, and you are stuck in that frequency, not because the universe punishes you, but for three deep reasons. One biological, one chemical, and one psychological. One, the biological origin, the survival program. In Chapter 2, we diagnosed the anatomy of this frequency. It is the frequency of fear, of survival. Your biological instrument was designed by eons of evolution, not to be happy, but to survive. Your base operating system is tuned to detect threats, to anticipate scarcity, to contract in the face of danger. This low frequency, this survival music, is not a mistake. It was the program that kept your species alive. The problem is that the program was left on. You have become a master at playing the music of fear, while the music of abundance and peace, the frequency of fortune, is a strange melody to your instrument. 2. The chemical addiction, the habit of the body. This survival program is not just mental, it is physiological. When you live in a chronic state of stress, worry, and struggle, the bad luck vibration, your body becomes chemically addicted to that state. Your system becomes accustomed to running on a constant drip of cortisol and adrenaline. Peace, calm, the frequency of fortune, they feel foreign, they feel boring, they feel even dangerous. Many people, when they finally experience a moment of true calm, feel a surge of anxiety. What am I forgetting? Why is everything so quiet? Something bad must be about to happen. Their system, addicted to the chemistry of the storm, does not know how to navigate the calm. And so, unconsciously, they create a new drama, a new problem, just to be able to return to the normal and familiar frequency of struggle. Your body is, literally, habitually tuned to bad luck. 3. The psychological prison, habit as identity. But the deepest trap is that of identity. Over time you have stopped having bad luck and have started being the person who has bad luck. It has become your story. It is the song you sing to yourself. This always happens to me. I'm one of those who have to fight for everything. I've never been lucky in love. And this story, this sad song, gives you something. It gives you an identity. It gives you an excuse. It gives you the sympathy of others. It gives you a reason not to take the terrifying risk of your own power. Your bad luck has become the central pillar of your personality. And if you were to let it go, if you suddenly became a lucky person, who would you be? This fear of the unknown, this fear of the death of identity, even if it is an identity of suffering, is the main reason your instrument resists tuning. The whisper versus the roar. And here finally we understand why forced action and superficial positive thinking fail. It is a matter of vibrational magnitude. Your conscious intention, I want to be abundant, is a whisper. It is a single flute trying to play a new melody for 10 minutes a day. Your vibrational habit, the addiction to fear, the identity of scarcity, is a roar. It is an orchestra of 100 tubas playing the old symphony of chaos for 23 hours and 50 minutes a day. The universe is not confused. It is a perfect mirror. It hears both signals, but it can only reflect the dominant one. It reflects the roar, not the whisper. Your bad luck is the perfect echo of your habitual state of being. Your stagnation is not a lack of creation. It is the result of a divided creation. Your conscious 5% whispers expansion, while your subconscious 95% roars contraction. The result is vibrational paralysis. The inverted magnet. Imagine your consciousness is a magnet. Good luck, abundance, health, love is a precious metal. The problem is that your magnet, by habit, is inverted. It is in repulsion mode. Your frequency of I am unworthy, of scarcity, of fear, is actively repelling the precious metal. You, with your conscious mind, try to attract the gold, but you don't realize that you are doing so, while your magnetic field, your habitual state, is pushing it away. The work of forbidden metaphysics is not to try to attract harder. The work is to turn the magnet around. The work is to change your dominant frequency. Chapter 4. The Two Banks, the Law of Polarity. This law is the one that dismantles the illusion of war. It reveals to you that there are not two banks. There is only one river with two margins. Scarcity and abundance are not two different things. They are the two extremes of the same measure. Provision. Sickness and health are not two opposite states. They are the two extremes of the same measure. Vitality. Fear and love are not two separate emotions. They are the two extremes of the same measure. Consciousness. Everything is a spectrum. Everything is a scale. Heat and cold are not opposites. Both are temperature. They differ only in the degree of molecular vibration. There is no point on the thermometer where cold ends and heat begins. It is a continuous scale. This is the forbidden truth of your life. Your bad luck and your good luck are not different destinations. They are the same experience, measured in different degrees. Bad luck is simply life vibrating at a low frequency. Good luck is life vibrating at a high frequency. The transmutation, not the transport. Why is this the game-changing revelation? Because if you are on the bank of scarcity and you believe abundance is a different bank, your only option is a violent struggle. You must build a boat, row against chaotic currents, survive the storm, and hopefully land on the other bank. This is the mentality of the frantic rower. But if you understand the law of polarity, You realize that you do not need to cross any river. You are already in the river. You only need to change your position in the current. You do not have to fight scarcity. You only have to raise the degree of your vibration toward abundance. Creation is not an act of transport, going from A to B. It is an act of transmutation, changing A into B. The quicksand trap of attention. If life is a spectrum, what is the dial that moves you along that spectrum? How do you raise the thermometer of consciousness from the cold of fear to the heat of love? The mechanism is attention. The physics of consciousness dictates that what you focus on expands. What you give your vibrational energy to grows. This is where bad luck becomes a quicksand trap. When you are on the bank of scarcity, what do you focus on? Scarcity, you look at your bills, you complain about prices, you talk about the crisis. Your attention is fixed on the negative pole. And the universe, which is a law of correspondence, Chapter 2, responds to your focus and gives you more scarcity for you to focus on. Your bad luck is the result of your hypnotic focus on bad luck. The act of fighting your scarcity, I hate being broke, I have to get out of this debt, is the most intense form of focus. It is a prayer for more of the same. You are shouting to the river that you hate the cold bank, and the obedient river keeps you anchored there. The thermostat of consciousness. Imagine your consciousness is a thermostat. Your bad luck is living in a room that is fixed at 0 degrees, fear, scarcity, illness. The frantic rower, forced action, is the person trying to heat the room by rubbing their hands, running in circles, cursing the cold. It is immense effort with 0 result. The awakening to the law of polarity is the moment you realize that you are the thermostat. You stop rubbing your hands, you stop fighting the cold, and with a simple act of consciousness, you walk to the dial and turn it. You do not fight the cold, you simply choose the heat. You do not focus on stopping being poor. You focus on aligning with abundance. You take your attention away from the evidence of the bank you are on, the veil of the senses, and place all your attention on the feeling of the bank you choose to move to, the imagination. This is the forbidden art of mental transmutation, changing your reality by changing, not your effort but your vibrational focus. The necessity of both banks. The untrained mind, the one operating from the duality of survival, only knows how to fight. Its solution for darkness is to attack the darkness. Its solution for scarcity is to eliminate poverty. But the universe does not operate by elimination. It operates by inclusion and resonance. The law of polarity teaches us that the universe needs both banks to exist. The very concept of abundance, the right bank, cannot exist without the concept of scarcity, the left bank. Light would have no meaning without the concept of darkness. Success would have no definition without the concept of failure. One bank cannot exist without the other. Without both there is no river, only a formless ocean, pure potential. Therefore, your mission is not to destroy the bank of bad luck. That is an act of ego arrogance that goes against the fundamental physics of the cosmos, and you are destined to fail. Your mission is much simpler and much more elegant. Your mission is to choose which bank you fix your attention upon. Transmutation by starvation. You as consciousness, the navigator, are the empowering factor. Your attention is the fuel. What you focus your attention, mental and emotional, upon is what you give life to. For years, you have been tethered to the bank of bad luck. How? By giving it all your attention. You complain about scarcity, you worry about illness, you focus on conflict, you resist what you don't like. Each of these acts is an act of feeding. You are, vibrationally, watering and nurturing the very bank you are trying to escape from. And then you wonder why the weeds of bad luck grow so strong. Oh, the forbidden metaphysics is the art of stopping feeding the negative pole. It is the art of transmutation by vibrational starvation. You do not fight the bank of scarcity. You simply stop looking at it. You withdraw your most precious resource, your conscious focus, your emotional energy, from what you do not want. And with absolute discipline, you turn your mental boat and place 100% of your focus on the bank you do want. Practical navigation. Instead of, I hate being sick, I have to fight this pain. Focus on the negative pole of vitality. You transmute, I withdraw my attention from the symptom. I place all my attention on the feeling of perfect health. I focus on the vibration of regeneration. Focus on the positive pole. Instead of, I can't stand my debts, I have to get out of this hole. Focus on the negative pole of provision. You transmute, I recognize the echo of the past, but I choose not to give it my energy. I place all my attention on the feeling of abundance, of financial peace, of gratitude for what is already flowing. Focus on the positive pole. This is the true meaning of turning the thermostat. You do not break the cold side of the dial. You simply move the needle toward the heat and trust that the mechanism, the universe, will respond. The dissolution of bad luck. What happens when you do this? What happens to the bank of bad luck when you stop feeding it with your attention? It does not disappear from the universe. It simply ceases to be your reality. It stops being in your field of resonance. It is as if the river of your life, which was previously flowing close to the rocky bank of fear, now, as you change your vibration, gently shifts toward the center and then toward the other bank, the one with the fertile fields of abundance. The bank of fear is still there, but it is so far away that it no longer affects you. It is no longer your landscape. You have changed your vibrational navigation point. Your bad luck does not die in a battle. It dissolves through abandonment. It withers from lack of your energy. The compass of consciousness. Imagine a magnet with its two poles, a north pole and a south pole. Your bad luck is the north pole. Your good luck is the south pole. The mistake of humanity, the frantic rower, is to take a hammer and try to destroy the north pole. This is madness. Not only is it impossible, but if you succeeded, you would destroy the entire magnet. Polarity is what gives the magnet its power. The universe is that magnet. It needs both poles. Your consciousness is a compass. When your consciousness is tuned to fear, Chapter 2, the needle of your compass points inevitably to the North Pole, bad luck. And no matter how hard you row, you are magnetically anchored there. Mental transmutation, the art of quantum navigation, is not fighting the North Pole. It is the art of repolarizing your own compass. It is the internal work of changing your frequency, cleansing your fear, cultivating gratitude, until your own inner needle turns 180 degrees and points with unwavering certainty toward the South Pole. Good luck. And the moment your compass turns, navigation becomes automatic. The river itself carries you. The fourth hidden current has been revealed to you. You have learned that the universe is a scale of polarity, that bad luck and good luck are the same current at different degrees. You have learned that your power resides not in fighting the negative pole, but in the transmutation of your focus toward the positive pole. You have stopped being the warrior who fights the cold and become the creator who chooses the heat. Chapter 5, the syntax of the soul, feeling as grammar. For your subconscious, the writing workshop, the vast 95% of your being, to accept a new script it must understand it, and the subconscious is a pre-verbal entity. It is the mind of the body. It is the intelligence that operates your heart and your chemistry. It does not understand the abstract cold language of your logical mind. A thought like I am abundant is to the subconscious a meaningless sound like a foreign language. But feeling is its mother tongue. The subconscious does not think about fear. It feels it as a contraction in the stomach and a flood of cortisol. It does not think about love. It feels it as an expansion in the chest and a flood of oxytocin. Feeling is the translation of an abstract thought into a biochemical reality. It is the bridge between mind and matter. It is the ink with which the scribe must write. When you combine a clear thought, the pencil, with a deep feeling, the ink, the inscription ceases to be a wish. It becomes a command. It is etched onto the scroll of the subconscious with an indelible force. Cold creation versus felt creation. Cold creation, that of the majority, is an act of willpower. It is the scribe gripping the pencil tightly, trying to scratch their will onto the page. It is tense. It is an effort. It is the frequency of counterfeiting. The result is a weak tapestry and an exhausted scribe. Felt creation, forbidden metaphysics, is an act of impregnation. It is the scribe dipping the pen, the thought, into the deep ink of their heart, the feeling, and allowing it to flow onto the page. There is no effort. There is conviction. A thought of health repeated 1,000 times with the logical mind is 1,000 times less potent than the feeling of relief held for a single second. The embodied word, feeling as reality. Feeling is the true prayer. It is the true I am. Your subconscious does not register what you say, it registers what you embody. When you say I am health but feel the fear of illness, your prayer is contradictory. You have written a word in pencil and crossed it out with the red ink of panic. The subconscious, being literal, ignores the pencil and obeys the ink. It manifests the fear. Healing begins when you stop thinking about what you want and start feeling what you already are on the invisible plane. The allegory of the seal and the wax. Imagine your subconscious mind is a disk of hard wax, your current programming. Your new script, your desire for healing, is a perfect golden seal, the original blueprint. If you take the cold seal, the logical thought of health, and press it against the cold wax, you leave no mark. This is the failure of positive thinking without feeling. You must do two things. Soften the wax. You must enter a receptive, meditative, drowsy state, the silence and peace from earlier words. Heat the seal, and here is the key. You must heat the seal. Feeling is the fire that heats the seal. When you generate through your imagination the feeling of your wish fulfilled, relief, gratitude, joy, you are heating your seal red hot. And when you press that hot seal, thought plus feeling, onto the soft wax, receptive subconscious, the imprint is instant, deep, and irrefutable. You have left a new mark. You have engraved a new truth. You have rewritten the manuscript. The distinction: reactive emotion versus sustained feeling. A reactive emotion is the noise of the old script. It is the echo of the past. It is the invisible ink making itself felt. It is chaotic, noisy, survival energy. It is the chaotic fire we have discussed, the anger that explodes, the panic that contracts you, the anxiety that vibrates in your chest. These feelings are the automatic scribe defending its territory. When you try to write peace with your conscious pencil, the automatic scribe pours the ink of panic onto your page. This reactive emotion is not creative, it is reinforcing. It reinforces the old manuscript, it is not the ink of new creation. The divine grammar, sustained feeling or assumption. Forbidden metaphysics does not ask you to feel explosively, it asks you to inhabit a state. A sustained feeling is a frequency chosen deliberately. It is the act of the awakened scribe who, with calmness, chooses a new ink. It is not the chaotic wave of emotion, it is the serene weather of conviction. The wise called it assumption. It is the art of assuming the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. It is not pretending. Pretending is a lie of the conscious 5% that is denied by the subconscious 95%. It is a frequency of counterfeiting. Assumption is an act of disciplined imagination. It is the art of using the workshop of silence, which we will explore next, to generate a feeling so real, so biochemically complete, that your body cannot distinguish between physical reality and imagined reality. The subconscious does not respond to the wave of reactive emotion. It ignores it as noise, but it obeys with absolute loyalty the weather of your sustained feeling. The key difference. Reactive emotion is an effect. It is born of the evidence of your senses. Sustained feeling, assumption, is a cause. It is born of your imagination. Your job as the scribe is not to stop feeling fear, that is repression. Your job is to become so skilled at generating the sustained feeling of peace or health that this new grammar over time becomes louder, more dominant, and more habitual than the old grammar of fear. The allegory, mental, of the ink workshop. Imagine your consciousness is a workshop where ink is manufactured. For years, the automatic scribe, your programming, has been manufacturing ink in only one way. It takes the poisonous berries of fear and the mud of the past, boils them in the pot of chaotic fire, stress, and creates a thick black ink of suffering. And you have been writing your life with that. The awakened scribe, your new consciousness, enters the workshop. It sees the recipe for the poison and instead of fighting it, simply stops using it. It turns to a forgotten shelf where the pure ingredients are the golden flowers of imagination, the precious minerals of happy memories, the pure water of gratitude. And, with serene intention, it begins to mix a new ink, an ink of a vibrant liquid gold. At first, you only have a small drop of this new golden ink, your 5-minute ritual, and for the rest of the day, the automatic scribe continues to use the old barrel of black ink. But if every day with discipline you manufacture more and more golden ink, practice sustained feeling, your internal supply changes. The barrel of black ink dries up from disuse and the barrel of golden ink fills, until a day comes when the golden ink of peace and health is the only ink available. And on that day, your automatic scribe, in its efficiency, takes that ink and automatically begins to write a golden manuscript. The healing is complete. You have changed the grammar. The navigator's insight. The syntax of the soul has been revealed to you. You have learned that creation is not an act of logic, but of feeling. You have learned that the ink of the universe is not thought, but embodied emotion. And you have learned to differentiate between the noise of reactive emotion and the grammar of sustained feeling. You have the key, I am. And now you have the ink, the feeling. But where do you write? Where is the blank scroll, safe from the world's noise and the echoes of the past? To write a new script, you cannot do it in the midst of the old chaotic scenery. You must retreat to the only place where creation is possible, the silent scriptorium. Chapter 6. The Ship's Wake. The Law of Cause and Effect. You have dismantled the illusion of chance. You know your life is not a lottery, but the human mind, upon abandoning the god of chance, immediately runs into the arms of an even worse tyrant, the god of the past. This is the prison in which the majority of humanity lives. They believe in the law of cause and effect, but they apply it backward. They believe that their present is the effect of their past, the cause. I am sick today because my genes are faulty. I am alone today because I was betrayed 10 years ago. I am poor today because I was born into the wrong family. You look back at the wake of your ship. You see the tumultuous trail of failures, pain, and bad luck, and you have reached the logical but completely erroneous conclusion that that wake, your past, is the engine pushing your boat, your present, forward. This is the illusion of the wake. It is the victim's amnesty. It is the belief that you are a prisoner of your own history. If you believe your past is the cause of your present, then your future is sealed. It can only be a repetition of more past. You become the Frantic Rower introduction, fighting against a wake that in your own mind holds more power than you do. Forbidden Metaphysics hands you the axe to cut this chain. The truth is this: the wake does not push the boat. The wake is simply the memory of where the boat has been. It is a trail of dead water. It has no power, it cannot steer, it cannot propel, it cannot change anything. The boat, your life, is not moved by the past. It is moved by the engine. And where is the engine? The engine is not in the wake, the engine is here, it is now. The cause of your life is not your inherited script. The cause is your point of power in the present. It is your state of consciousness, your vibrational frequency, your mental focus in this precise instant. Your bad luck is not caused by your failure yesterday. It is caused by your vibrational reaction, fear, contraction to that failure today. The past is dead. It is a burned scroll. It is your attention to the past that resurrects it. It is your focus on the wake that gives it phantom power. The moment you withdraw your attention from the past and place it in the now, the wake loses all power over you. This law, cause and effect, must be understood in conjunction with the law of correspondence. As it is above, so it is below. Most people live entirely on the plane of effect, the below, the physical world, and they try to use one effect, forced action, rowing, to create another effect. It is a futile effort. Forbidden Metaphysics teaches you that the cause always resides in the higher planes. The cause is always invisible. It is mental and vibrational. The effect is always the reflection on the physical plane. Your thought and your habitual belief are the cause. Your body and your bank account are the effect. Your bad luck is simply the name you give to the effects of causes you have not wanted to recognize. They are the effects of your own unconscious mental causes, your fears, your doubts, your survival frequency. Your good luck synchronicity is the name you give to the effects of causes you have deliberately set in motion. Your clear intention, your coherent frequency, your state of gratitude. In the river of creation, luck does not exist, only cause and effect exist. You cannot plant a seed of fear, cause, and harvest a reality of abundance, effect. The law is impersonal. The river does not judge you, it only obeys the seed. Imagine your consciousness is a sower. Your subconscious mind, the mental river, is the fertile land. Your physical reality is the harvest. The law of cause and effect is the law of agriculture. The drowning navigator, the victim, is the farmer who wakes up, looks at his field full of weeds, effect, and blames chance, the weather, or God for his bad harvest. He does not realize that he himself has been scattering seeds of fear and doubt, causes, all over the field. The frantic rower, the fighter, is the farmer who, seeing the weeds, tries to fight them. He spends all day furiously pulling out the weeds, forced action, without realizing that his pockets are full of holes and he keeps scattering more weed seeds as he works. The Quantum Navigator, the conscious creator, is the one who understands the law. He stops looking at the weeds, the effect. He stops. He empties his pockets of the seeds of fear, and with a deliberate intention, he begins to plant in the now the seeds of wheat, causes of trust, peace, and abundance. He does not fight the old harvest. He simply initiates a new sowing. He knows with absolute certainty that the law is infallible, and that the new cause, wheat, must inevitably produce a new effect, a harvest of abundance. The moment you truly accept the law of cause and effect, the concept of victim dissolves. It becomes a philosophical impossibility. If you are the cause of your reality, you can no longer blame the wake. You can no longer blame your past. You can no longer blame your parents. You can no longer blame the economy. You can no longer blame chance. The drowning navigator, the sleeping consciousness, lives in a world of excuses, a world where the effect, bad luck, is the tyrant. The Quantum Navigator, the awakened consciousness, understands that the chaos in his river is the reflection of the chaotic causes that he himself has been emitting. This responsibility is terrifying to the ego, because it strips away all its excuses. It strips away the identity of fighter and survivor. But it is total liberation for your soul. Because if you have been the cause of your own bad luck, it means you have the absolute power to be the cause of your good luck. If your consciousness has been powerful enough to create a mountain of debt, an effect, from a seed of fear, a cause, imagine how powerful it is to create a mountain of abundance from a seed of trust. Your power has never been in doubt. It has only been misdirected. This law of responsibility must not be confused with guilt. In fact, this law is the antidote to guilt. Guilt is the belief that the past, an old cause, is punishing you in the present. The law of cause and effect teaches that the past has no power to punish. The past is dead. Your bad luck today is not the punishment for your mistake yesterday. It is the consequence of you continuing to emit the same vibration of that mistake in the now. You are recreating the past in the present by tuning into its frequency. What does this mean? It means you don't have to fix your past. You don't have to analyze your trauma for decades. You don't have to deserve your healing. The only thing you have to do is change the cause now. The instant you change your state of consciousness, the moment you shift from the frequency of fear, the old cause, to the frequency of peace, the new cause, you have sent a new order to the river. And the river, by law, must begin to orchestrate a new effect. Healing does not require time. It requires a change of cause. This is the final lesson of the sixth current. It defines the difference between conscious navigation and unconscious struggle. The majority of humanity lives hypnotized by the veil of the senses, existing entirely on the plane of effect, the below, the physical world. When faced with an effect they don't like, scarcity, they try to use another effect, forced action, rowing harder, to change it. It is the frantic rower, hitting the water, trying to make the reflection change. It is a struggle of effect against effect. It is a civil war on the plane of illusions. Forbidden metaphysics is the art of stopping living on the plane of effect. It is the art of withdrawing your attention from the chaotic reflection and moving it with absolute discipline to the plane of the cause. Your job is not to do more in the world. Your job is to be more in your consciousness. The drowning navigator asks, "What must I do to get money?" Focus on the effect. The Quantum Navigator asks, what must I become, vibrate, so that money is the inevitable echo? Focus on the cause. You stop being a reactor to the world and become the creator of it. You stop being the wake and become the engine. Return to the image of the sower. Your field is full of weeds, the effects of your bad luck. The frantic rower spends the day pulling out the weeds with anger and panic, fighting the effect. But his pockets are full of more weed seeds, his vibration of fear, and as he fights he sows more than he pulls out. His work never ends. The Quantum Navigator understands the law of cause and effect. He does not waste a single second fighting the weeds. He knows that the weeds are only the effect of a past cause. He simply, with a sovereign calm, empties his pockets of the weeds of fear. He fills his pockets with the golden seeds of wheat, his new intention, his new frequency. And he begins methodically to plant the new cause. He knows he does not have to pull out the weeds. He knows that the new wheat crop, nourished by the correct cause, will grow so strong, so tall, and so dense that it will inevitably choke out the old weeds from lack of sunlight. You have not fought the darkness. You have replaced it with the light. Chapter 7. The Rudder and the Propeller, the Law of Gender. This law reveals that creation is not a singular act. It is a dual act. It is a dance between two forces, two energetic principles that must unite for anything, from a cosmos to a thought, to be born. These are the two poles of the cause. The masculine principle, the propeller. This is the energy of action. It is the drive. It is will, intention, decree. It is the thought that projects, that gives, that sows. The feminine principle, the rudder. This is the energy of receptivity. It is intuition, feeling, gestation. It is the subconscious mind that receives the seed, nurtures it, and gives it form. Nothing in the universe is created by one principle alone. A propeller, masculine without a rudder, feminine, is a boat with an engine running at full throttle, spinning in chaotic circles, going nowhere fast. It is pure brute force, without wisdom or direction. A rudder, feminine, without a propeller, masculine, is a boat with a perfect direction, but that is drifting, powerless, unable to advance against the tide. It is pure receptivity, without will or action. Does this sound familiar? This is the anatomy of human failure, the diagnosis of disharmony, the fractured navigator. Your bad luck and your stagnation are the result of living in a state of fundamental imbalance, of a civil war between these two principles. Society has conditioned you to venerate one and despise the other. One excess propeller, the frantic rower. This is the disease of the modern world. It is the cult of forced action. Struggle, strive, control, make it happen. This is the consciousness that lives entirely in the masculine principle, the propeller. It is the frantic rower. Introduction. It is the person who has a clear intention, cause, but tries to manifest it through brute force on the plane of effect. They try to convince the universe. They try to force the river. But because they despise the feminine principle, they have no rudder. They lack receptivity. They don't listen to intuition. They don't honor feeling. The result? Immense burnout, chronic stress. The boat's engine is red hot, but the boat keeps hitting the bank's rocks. Bad luck, and because it lacks direction. Tuhuani excess rudder, the passive navigator. This is the trap into which many people who awaken to this knowledge fall. They discover the power of the feminine principle, meditation, receptivity, feeling. They become masters at calming the river, at vibrating high, at letting go. They are all rudder. They have a perfect direction. But they refuse to use the propeller. They refuse to declare their intention, to make a decision, to act. They believe that letting go means abdicating all will. The result? They are peaceful, yes, but they are drifting. Their boat, perfectly calm, is dragged by the law of rhythm, never advancing toward a chosen destination. They are waiting for the river to deliver the treasure, unaware that the river waits for them to start the engine and go for it. Forbidden metaphysics teaches you that true navigation, good luck, is the sacred and conscious marriage of these two principles. Creation is not just action, and it is not just receptivity. It is a cycle. Your feminine principle, the rudder, Your subconscious mind, your intuition, is what receives the inspiration. It feels the desire. It feels the river's current. Your masculine principle, the propeller, your conscious mind, takes that inspiration, focuses it, and projects it as a clear intention, cause. Your feminine principle, feeling, faith, receives that seed of intention, accepts it, and begins to gestate it in the darkness, the Sabbath. Your masculine principle, inspired action, executes the physical movement necessary to receive the manifestation. It is a constant flow, it is a dance. The rudder feeling guides the propeller intention, and the propeller action moves the boat where the rudder intuition directs it. Your consciousness engine has two strokes, like a combustion engine. The masculine principle, propeller, is the spark. It is the act of giving. It is your focused thought, your decree, your intention. The feminine principle, rudder, is the combustion. It is the act of receiving. It is your subconscious mind, your feeling, that takes that spark and turns it into an explosion of power. Many people fail because they spend the day creating sparks, propeller, in an engine that has no fuel, rudder. They repeat affirmations, sparks, in a state of feeling lack, incorrect fuel. Or conversely, they have an engine full of fuel, rudder, they deeply feel their lack, but have no spark of conscious intention to change it. The true cause we speak of is not just the thought. The cause is the marriage of the two. It is the moment your masculine principle, the clear intention of abundance, unites with and fertilizes your feminine principle, the deep feeling of gratitude and peace. That union, that vibrational conception, is the cause. And the effect, your physical reality, is the inevitable birth that follows that conception. Your job is not to do the manifestation, it is to initiate the conception. This union of the propeller and the rudder is also the only way to navigate the currents of polarity and rhythm. Navigating the two banks, polarity. In Chapter 4, we saw that bad luck on the scarcity and good luck on abundance are the two banks of the same river, and that you cannot row from one to the other. How do you move then? You use mental gender. First you use your rudder, feminine. You stop fighting. You become receptive. And you feel the frequency of the bank you wish to move to. You feel the peace of abundance. Then you use your propeller, masculine. You take that feeling and focus it. You give it direction, you declare your intention. By using both, you have repolarized your own boat, your vibration. And the river of creation, which is a mirror of correspondence, must now by law gently carry you to the bank that matches your new polarity. The frantic rower, excess propeller, panics in the ebb. He tries to row harder against the low tide and he burns out. The passive navigator, excess rudder, surrenders to the ebb. He identifies with the low tide and is dragged back to the bank of fear. The conscious navigator uses both principles. During the ebb, low tide, winter, he activates his feminine principle, rudder. He becomes receptive. He rests. He trusts. He meditates. He gestates his next creation in the darkness, knowing the ebb is necessary. During the flow, high tide, spring, he activates his masculine principle, propeller. He acts. He makes decisions. He executes inspired action. He sows his seed in the world with the power of the tide in his favor. He does not fight the rhythm. He dances with it. He uses the energy of the ebb to plan and the energy of the flow to execute. Finally, the law of gender explains the law of vibration, Chapter 3. Your vibration, the music you emit to the universe, is the quality of the relationship between your inner propeller and rudder. If your propeller, conscious intention, and your rudder, subconscious feeling, are at war, I want to be rich versus I feel poor. Your vibration is a dissonance. It is chaotic noise, and the river reflects chaos back to you. If your propeller, conscious intention, and your rudder, subconscious feeling, are in harmony, I choose peace, plus I feel peaceful. Your vibration is coherent. It is a symphony, and the river reflects harmony, synchronicity, and good luck. Bad luck is the sound of your propeller and your rudder spinning in opposite directions. Good luck is the sound of their perfect union. Imagine your consciousness as an old steamship. The river water is the mental river, the substance of consciousness. The reflection in the water is the correspondence. The river's current is the vibration. The two banks are the polarity. The river's tides are the rhythm. The movement of the ship forward is cause and effect. And now the law of gender. Your feminine principle, Rudder, is the ship's boiler. It is the receptive, dark, powerful space where the water, emotion, faith, is contained. Your masculine principle, Propeller, is the fire under the boiler. It is the spark, the intention, the will. If you have only fire, Propeller, but no water or boiler, Rudder, you burn your energy into the air. You burn out. It is the burnout of forced action. If you have only water, Rudder, but no fire, Propeller, the ship is calm, but cold, dead. It is drifting. It is passive inaction. Creation is the miracle of alchemy. When the fire, masculine, heats the water, feminine, steam is produced. And that steam, the union of the two, is the power that moves the pistons and turns the great wheel, propelling the ship of your life toward the destination you have chosen, with a power that is neither yours alone nor the river's alone, but the union of both. Chapter 8. Charting the Course, the Ritual of the Inner Astrolabe. The navigator without a course, the tragedy of indecision. Most people are navigators without a course. They have been cast into the river of creation without a map and without a destination. The drowning navigator, the victim, is dragged by the current of the rhythm, blaming the tide for their misfortune. The frantic rower, the fighter, rows frantically in all directions, fighting cause and effect, exhausting their energy without advancing. Both fail, not because the river is hostile, but because they have not charted a course. The universe, the mental river, is an impersonal servant. It is a perfect mirror, but a mirror cannot reflect an image you do not present to it. A river cannot carry you to a destination you have not chosen. The vague wish, an ambiguous intention like I want to be happy or I want more money, is not a course. It is a diffuse note. The river does not know how to respond to ambiguity, and by default, it keeps you in the whirlpool of your habitual programming. Charting the course is the act of taking the cause into your own hands. It is the first true use of the masculine principle, the act of projecting, deciding, and giving direction to the energy. It is not wishing. Wishing is born from the bank of scarcity. Wishing is the vibration of not having. Charting the course is an act of certainty. It is the calm of the captain who, ignoring the current storm, the rhythm, sits in their cabin, unfolds the cosmic map and says, "We are going there." It is a decree. It is a command. What is the tool you use to chart this course? You cannot use your physical eyes, they only see the storm, the effect, the echo of the past. You must use your inner eye. The tool that forbidden metaphysics teaches you to master is your imagination. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is not a childish escape. It is the most sophisticated quantum navigation tool that exists. It is your inner astrolabe. A physical astrolabe allows a navigator to determine their position by measuring the altitude of the stars. Your inner astrolabe, imagination, allows you to determine your destination by creating the star you wish to follow. This ritual is not a mental game. It is an act of neurological engineering. As we have learned, your subconscious, the vast mental river, is the builder. It does not distinguish a real experience from a vividly and sensorially imagined one. When you, in a state of stillness, use your inner astrolabe to chart a course, when you see the port you are arriving at, smell the salt air, feel the peace of arrival, you are not dreaming. You are creating a memory. You are installing in the vast database of your subconscious a memory of the future. Your subconscious, which until now only knew how to navigate using the old, damaged maps of the past, your inherited script, suddenly has a new map, a clear destination, a precise course. And the moment this new map is accepted, the autopilot of your being, the automatic scribe, takes control. The vast power of your 95% begins to adjust the rudder, guide your thoughts, orchestrate synchronicities, the flow of the river. All so that the ship of your life inevitably sails toward the destination you have charted. Your job is not to row toward the destination. Your job is to imprint the destination into your internal GPS with such clarity and feeling that the ship sails itself. The Navigator's Workshop, the practical ritual. You have understood why we must chart the course. It is the act of deliberate cause. It is the use of the masculine principle, the propeller, to create a memory of the future that your subconscious, the mental river, is obliged to execute. But knowing you have an astrolabe doesn't chart the map. You must learn to use it. You now enter the Navigator's Workshop. This is the most important practical ritual. It is the one that transforms the frantic rower into the conscious creator. This ritual is not an act of willpower. It is an act of clarity and sensation. It is performed in the state of greatest power, the drowsy state, the portal between waking and sleeping, the silent scriptorium. Name of the ritual of the inner astrolabe. Purpose: to define and imprint a new destination, memory of the future, onto the subconscious map. The protocol. Phase 1. Calming the river, the ritual of receptivity. This is the protocol you learned in the previous project, the blank papyrus. You cannot chart a new course in the midst of a thought storm. First, you must calm the water. Choose your moment. The most potent time is at night, in bed, when you have finished the day and are ready to sleep. You don't have to do anything else. Your only intention is to navigate. Consecrate the space. Turn off all distractions. The phone, the light. The mental river responds to stillness. Relax the ship, the body. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. With each exhale, release, as learned previously, the tension of the day. Feel your body becoming heavy, sinking into the mattress. Silence the rower, the logical mind. Your mind will start shouting its fears and to-do lists. Do not fight it. That is rowing. Simply anchor your attention on the rhythm of your breath. Observe the air entering. Observe the air leaving. Recognize the portal. Continue until you feel the shift. Your thoughts become illogical, the drifting begins. You feel a pleasant heaviness. The guardian, your critical mind, has fallen asleep. The mental river, your subconscious, is calm, receptive. The water is still. Phase 2, finding the North Star, the art of distillation. The water is calm. Now, you must choose your destination. The most common mistake is choosing a vague destination, I want to be happy, or a materialistic destination, I want a red car. The subconscious does not understand these things. You must find the North Star, the essence of your desire. Ask the essential question, what do you truly want? $1 million, or the freedom and peace you believe it will give you? A partner, or the wholeness and connection you seek? Distill the feeling. Go beyond the physical form. The mental river only understands feeling. Your North Star is not an object. It is a state of being. Choose your word. Peace, freedom, perfect health, wholeness. Phase 3, charting the map, the scene creation. You have chosen your North Star, e.g. financial peace. Now you must create the memory of the future that implies you have already arrived at that destination. This is the inner astrolabe. Build a short scene. Your scene must be short, 3 to 5 seconds, and sensory. It must be first person, do not see yourself. Be yourself in the scene. It must imply fulfillment. The scene must take place after your desire has been fulfilled. Destination, North Star. Financial peace. Map, scene. You are in your bed in the darkness, the same state you are in now. You sigh deeply. A feeling of immense relief floods your chest. You think, or feel, it is done. It is all paid off. Finally, peace. Destination, North Star. Perfect health. Map scene. You are at a doctor's office. Your doctor looks at you confused and says, I don't understand it. The labs are perfect. You feel a wave of gratitude and relief. Choose one scene, only one. That is your map. Phase 4, sealing the course. The subconscious lullaby. This is the final act of navigation. It is the union of the propeller, masculine, and the rudder, feminine. Activate the rudder, the feeling. In your drowsy state, feel the emotion of your scene. Do not just see it, feel it. Feel the relief in your chest. Feel the gratitude. This is the rudder, the direction. Activate the propeller, the repetition. Now, while holding that feeling, repeat the short scene, over and over. Feel the relief, release. Feel the relief, release. Feel the relief, release. The lullaby. This is not an effort, it is a cooing. You are rocking your subconscious mind with this new truth. You are repeating the scene and the feeling with a rhythmic calmness, like a lullaby. The seal of sleep. Continue this gentle loop until you fall asleep. Your goal is for your last conscious thought and feeling before falling asleep to be the sensation of your wish already fulfilled. The moment you fall asleep in that assumption, you have done the work. You have turned the rudder. You have charted the course. You have installed the memory of the future. The river of creation, your vast subconscious, has received a clear, coherent, and power-charged command. And while you sleep, the river, which never sleeps, begins to move the currents of the universe. It begins to orchestrate synchronicities, manage the tides, and align the world's reflection to inevitably match the new course you have charted. Chapter 9. Hoisting the Sails, the Ritual of Inspired Action. A rudder, however perfect, does not move a boat. A map, however precise, does not transport you. Now we must activate the propeller. We must learn to move. But how do we move? This is where humanity has divided into two camps of failure, the frantic rower and the passive navigator. The frantic rower is the consciousness that lives in forced action. It is the old survival habit. It is the belief that if I don't do it, it won't get done. It is the person who, even after charting the course of abundance in their ritual, wakes up and returns to rowing frantically against the current. They call 100 people out of panic, work 18 hours out of stress, fighting the river's reflection with more and more effort. This is not creative action. It is action of resistance. It is a vibration of fear. It is the sound of the propeller spinning without the rudder, creating a wake of chaos, wasting all the fuel and going in circles. It is a declaration that they do not trust the river. At the other extreme lies the trap many people who awaken to this knowledge fall into. They discover the peace of meditation, the power of letting go, the beauty of the feminine principle. They become masters at feeling. They are all rudder. They have a perfect course, but they refuse to use the propeller. They confuse letting go with abdicating. They sit in their boat in perfect calm and wait for the river to deliver the destination on a silver platter. The third way, inspired action, hoisting the sails. Forbidden metaphysics teaches you the third way. It is neither the struggling rower nor the sleeping navigator. It is the path of the wise captain. The wise captain does not row against the current, forced action. That is foolishness. The wise captain also does not remain adrift in action. The wise captain hoists the sails. What is hoisting the sails? It is the art of using the propeller action, not to create movement but to receive the river's movement. It is the art of inspired action. When you chart your course in the mental river, the river, which is consciousness, responds to you. The river of creation, your subconscious and the unified field, begins to conspire in your favor. It starts sending you wind. This wind is not generally a hurricane that takes you to the destination instantly. It is a subtle breeze. It is a hunch. It is a synchronicity. It is the illogical impulse to call that person you haven't seen in 10 years. It is the coincidence of finding the exact book that answers your question. It is the sudden feeling that you should go down this street and not the usual one. These are not random thoughts. They are the mental river giving you the first tug. They are the invisible currents of the cause manifesting as subtle guidance. They are the universe's propeller inviting your propeller to dance. The rower is too busy fighting to feel this breeze. The passive navigator feels it, but thinks it is just a thought and refuses to act. The quantum navigator has learned to feel this breeze, intuition, and to act upon it, hoist the sail. Good luck is simply the name we give to the life of a navigator who has become exquisitely sensitive to the breeze of intuition and has the courage to hoist their sails and follow it, no matter how illogical the direction seems. Your job is not to row toward your destination. Your job is to tune into the breeze of inspiration and respond. The frantic rower fails because their action is born of fear and dissonance. The passive navigator fails because their calm lacks action. Good luck is the dance between the two. It is the art of improvisation. But this dance requires training. You must learn to distinguish the subtle breeze of inspiration from the noisy wind of panic. You now enter the navigator's workshop. This is not a one-time ritual. It is your new way of life. Name of the ritual: the ritual of hoisting the sails. Purpose: to discern inspired action, the river's breeze, from forced action, the wind of fear, and cultivate the courage to act on the former. The protocol. Phase 1. Calming the water, the tuning. The first step, always, is silence. You cannot feel the subtle breeze if you are in the midst of your own mental storm. Before making any important decision, or any time you feel stuck and feel the frantic urge to do something, your first act of power is to do nothing. Stop. Do not react. Do not pick up the phone. Do not answer the email. Enter the workshop. Close your eyes, even for a minute. Return to the ritual of the inner astrolabe, Chage 8. Anchor your consciousness in your breath. Observe the chaos. Observe the storm of thoughts. I have to, as I should. What if? Do not judge them, just observe them. By observing them without reacting, you remove their power. Your goal is not to find the answer. Your goal is to silence the noise of the frantic rower so you can finally feel the wind. Phase 2. The somatic compass, distinguishing the current. In this state of relative calm, you can now use the most precise tool of discernment you possess, your somatic compass. Your body does not lie. It knows at a cellular level the difference between a current that takes you home and one that takes you to the rocks. Present the idea of action to your consciousness and feel how your body responds. The signal of false wind, forced action. Emotion feels like anxiety. There is a sense of urgency, of panic, of should. Body sensation. It is a contraction. You feel a knot in your stomach, tightness in your chest, tension in your jaw or shoulders. Your body literally contracts, preparing for a threat. Origin. It is logical and based on the past, the wake. If I don't do this, everything will fail. I must do it because that's how it's always been done. It is the voice of your fear of lack. The signal of true breeze-inspired action. Emotion feels like calm. There is a sense of serene certainty, curiosity, expansion. Body sensation. It is an opening. You feel lightness, an inner click, a sigh of relief, as if something fits into place. Origin. It is illogical and based on potential, the future cause. It is often a simple whisper without justification. Call that person, go that way, write this idea. An impulse born of fear feels like pressure. It is the world pushing you. An impulse born of inspiration feels like attraction. It is the river pulling you gently. Phase 3. The courage of the sail, acting on the whisper. The river of creation rarely gives you the complete map. Good luck almost never arrives as a massive, finished event. It arrives as an illogical impulse, as a single whispered note that, if you follow it, leads you to the next and then the next. Your practice here is the courage of the first step. Your somatic compass gives you an expansive yes to the idea of signing up for that workshop that has nothing to do with your career. Your logical mind, the frantic rower, screams, "It's a waste of time. Focus on the problem." Inspired action will always seem crazy to the logical mind because it is not based on your past, the rower's data, but on the score of your future, the river's wisdom. Your practice is to trust expansion over logic. It is having the courage to pick up the phone, click register, write the first paragraph. That first step, however small, is your yes signal to the cosmos. It is your way of saying, "I have felt the breeze. I am hoisting the sail." And the moment you take that first step, the river responds, and the next breeze, the next synchronicity, appears. Phase 4. Releasing the destination. Sailing without attachment. This is where many people fail. Even if they got the first 3 steps right, they take the inspired step, but they do so with a rigid agenda. I'm calling this old friend so he'll give me a job. I'm going to this party to find my soulmate. This is not navigation. This is returning to the rower's forced action. You are trying to impose your own limited destination on the infinite river. You are again creating resistance. True improvisation, true luck, requires your action without attachment to the outcome. Your practice is that of intention without agenda. Hold the course, the Astrolabe. You keep your North Star clear, your intention from Chalmers 8. You know your destination is financial peace. Follow the breeze, the sail. You act on the illogical impulse to go to the coffee shop. Release the port, the improvisation. But you go to the coffee shop without an agenda. You don't go to find the millionaire partner. You go simply because the river told you to go. You go with an open curiosity, in a state of awe. And then the river is free to improvise. Perhaps you won't meet the partner, but in the coffee shop you'll overhear a conversation that gives you an even better idea. Or perhaps nothing happens at all, but the simple act of obeying your intuition strengthened your connection for the big opportunity that will arrive tomorrow. Good luck arrives when you stop trying to control the map and content yourself with navigating beautifully the only current given to you in the now. Chapter 10. Calm in the Storm, the Ritual of the Inner Anchor. You have been initiated into the first two great practical rituals. You have learned to chart the course and to hoist the sails. You are in the river of creation, and for the first time, you are neither drifting nor rowing frantically. You are navigating. Your new cause, your intention, is generating new effects, synchronicities. You feel the flow. And then from a horizon you thought was peaceful, the sky darkens. The storm hits. It is the echo of your past, the ship's wake catching up to you with a final furious wave. It is the ebb of the law of rhythm, the low tide arriving with unexpected force. In practical terms, the unexpected bill arrives. The old pain symptom returns with intensity. The relationship you were healing explodes into conflict. This is the moment of the mirror test. This is the moment of truth. It is the final test of your mastery. And it is here that 99% of people, even the most conscious, fail. The untrained consciousness, upon being hit by this storm, reacts with panic. It interprets the storm as proof of failure. It didn't work, it screams. The metaphysics is a lie. The Astrolabe ritual was a fantasy. The breeze of inspiration betrayed me and led me into this storm. In that instant of panic, the navigator commits the supreme betrayal. They lose faith in their own course. They let go of the rudder. They lower the sails. And purely out of a survival habit, they grab the oars and start rowing frantically, reverting to the Frantic Rower introduction, fighting the waves, emitting the vibration of fear and dissonance. The diagnosis of failure, the cancellation of the cause. What has happened in this moment, in the physics of the river? You have cancelled your cause. Your course was a cause planted on the mental plane. But your panic, a chaotic vibration, is a much louder and more familiar cause to the river. The moment you panic, you have changed your frequency. You have stopped tuning into good luck, your destination, and have retuned with all the force of your fear to the old frequency of bad luck, survival, struggle. And the river of creation, which is an impersonal mirror of your dominant vibration, obeys. It halts the orchestration of your good luck and, loyally, begins to reflect your new vibration of panic, sending you more storms. The storm was not the failure. Your reaction to the storm was the failure. The storm was a simple effect of the past, but your fear turned it into the cause of your future. The Quantum Navigator understands a truth that the logical mind cannot accept. The storm is not a sign of failure. It is proof that the ritual is working. The storm is the collision of two realities. It is the echo of your old bad luck vibration, the wake colliding for the first time with the wave of your new good luck vibration, the course. The chaos is not a sign that you are lost. It is the sound of your old reality breaking. It is the sound of the ice of your past cracking against the hull of your ship. It is the sound of contractions before birth. The river is asking you the final question. You have charted a new course. But were you serious? Will you maintain your calm, your new frequency, even when my reflection, the outer world, shows you the storm of your past? What do you believe in more? The invisible course you have charted in your soul or the visible storm hitting your ship? The Quantum Navigator cannot control the storm. He knows the rhythm will bring low tides, and the wake will bring echoes of the past. Trying to stop the storm is rowing against the current. It is forced action. So, what does he do? He does not control the river, he controls the ship. He does not try to calm the storm, he calms himself. He deploys the inner anchor. What is the inner anchor? It is not a physical anchor that ties you to the muddy bottom of the problem. It is a vibrational anchor. It is the art of emotional neutrality. It is the act of withdrawing your focus from the storm, the effect, and anchoring it with unwavering discipline on your course, the cause. It is the art of keeping your propeller, intention, and your rudder, feeling, fixed on your destination, while the ship of your body is tossed by the waves. It is the calm of the captain who, in the midst of the most violent storm, instead of running around the deck screaming, clings to the rudder, smiles and says, "Interesting, a storm, but my destination is still east. I trust the ship." This calm, this peace in the midst of chaos, is the highest and most powerful vibration a human being can emit. It is the final act of faith. It is the declaration that your inner world is more real than your outer world. The Navigator's Workshop, the practical ritual. This is not a ritual you do in the calm of the morning. This is an emergency protocol. It is the art of real-time transmutation. It is the ritual you practice when bad luck strikes your door. Name of the ritual of the inner anchor. Purpose: to neutralize the panic reaction, dissonance to a challenge, and to reaffirm the coherent frequency of the new course, your cause, thereby protecting your manifestation. The protocol. Phase 1. The detection, the wave. The challenge appears, the unexpected bill, the painful symptom, the alarming news. Your body reacts before your mind. You feel the hit. It is the contraction, the knot in your stomach, the racing heart, the tension in your shoulders. This is the biological alarm of your old survival program. It is the Frantic Rower introduction, jumping in panic, shouting, "Everyone to the oars." Phase 2, dropping the oars, the conscious pause. Your old habit in this instant is to react. It is to grab the oar of panic and start fighting the wave, forced action. Your new practice, your first act of power, is to do nothing. The instant you feel the contraction of panic, stop, do not speak, do not make the decision, do not answer the email, do not move. Take a single deep conscious breath. With this simple act of pausing, you have achieved the first miracle. You have created a space between the stimulus, the storm, and your automatic response, panic. You have stopped the frantic rower. You have gone from being an unconscious reactor to being an awakened consciousness. Phase 3, the diagnosis, relabeling the storm. In that 1-second pause, your logical mind, the rower, will try to define the situation. It will shout, "Failure, this is a disaster, the law isn't working." Your job is to relabel the storm. You must diagnose it not as a failure, but as a known current. With deliberate calm, say in your mind, "I recognize this. This is not a failure. This is the ship's wake, the echo of my old cause. Or this is the ebb, it is the low tide before the high tide." By naming the current, you take away its power to frighten you. It is not an unknown monster. It is a predictable cycle. You have reclaimed your power as an observer. Phase 4, casting the anchor, the return to course. You have diagnosed the wave. Now the wave hits you. You feel the fear, the panic. Your instinct is to fight the feeling. Do not. Your practice is to cast the anchor. Feel the fear. Allow the wave of panic to pass through you, but do not become it. Observe it as the navigator observes a monstrous wave, with respect, but from the safety of their ship. Anchor your focus. Now, withdraw your focus from the wave, the effect, and anchor it with absolute discipline on your course, the cause. Invoke the memory of the future. Close your eyes if you can. Return to the ritual of the inner astrolabe. Remember the sensation of your destination. Your mind screams, scarcity. You invoke the feeling of financial peace. Your body screams, pain. You invoke the feeling of perfect health. Activate the rudder. Use your feminine principle. Become receptive to calm, not the storm. Breathe deeply and with each exhale, release the physical tension. Relax your shoulders, jaw, and stomach. This is the act of faith. You are anchoring your ship, not in the muddy bottom of the problem, but in the invisible reality of your destination. Phase 5, the crossing, sustaining the frequency. The storm will not stop in a second. The echo must finish resonating. The low tide must bottom out. This is where the battle is won. The anchor is cast, your inner calm. But the waves, the evidence of your senses, are still hitting the hull. Your job is not to do anything more. Your job is to sustain, maintain your anchor, keep breathing, keep returning to your course. Refuse, with stubborn calm, to identify with the storm. Your loyalty is no longer with the reflection in the water. It is with the projector of your consciousness. Good luck is the result of a consciousness that refuses to blink, refuses to cancel its command, refuses to let go of the rudder. And then the miracle occurs. The river of creation, the perfect mirror, seeing that the storm, the effect, no longer generates the cause of fear in you, gives up. The reflection no longer matches your vibration. And by the law of correspondence, the storm must dissolve. The river, by law, must realign with your inner calm, revealing the ocean of peace and good luck that you have maintained with your faith. You have not fought the storm, you have survived it vibrationally. You have learned the 3 rituals of mastery: charting the course, the art of intention; the nighttime ritual to fix your destination in the mental river; hoisting the sails, the art of inspired action; the daytime ritual to recognize and dance with the breeze of synchronicity; casting the anchor, the art of faith; the storm ritual to maintain your calm and your course when chaos strikes. You have the philosophy. You have the practice. You have learned to read the river and navigate it. You are no longer the drowning navigator, victim of chance. You are no longer the frantic rower, slave to effort. You are the quantum navigator, the conscious creator of your destiny. We have unveiled the forbidden map. We have learned that the river of creation is not an external hostile force, but the very substance of consciousness. We have discovered that it is not a river of matter, but a mental river. We learned that this river is an infallible mirror, a reflection that can only show us the correspondence of our own inner state. We discovered that its language is vibration, and that bad luck is just an out-of-tune frequency. We saw the geography of the river, the 2 banks of polarity, understanding that we do not fight scarcity, but tune into abundance. We learned to respect the tides, the ebb and flow of rhythm, recognizing the ebb not as a failure, but as a sacred pause. We uncovered the truth of cause and effect, that our wake, the past, has no power, and that the engine of our life resides in the now. And finally, we understood the mechanics of that engine, the sacred dance of the rudder, our receptive feeling, and the propeller, our active intention. We left philosophy and entered the workshop. We learned to stop rowing. We mastered the art of charting the course, using silence to imprint our destiny on the river. We learned to hoist the sails, to recognize the breeze of inspired action. And we learned to cast the inner anchor of our calm, to maintain the course even in the most violent storm. You are no longer the victim of the river. You are the quantum navigator. But here, in the vast calm of the ocean we have reached, lies the final revelation. The goal of this manual was never to teach you to master the river. That is still an illusion of separation. The forbidden truth, the secret that all the currents whisper, is this: you are the river. You are not a separate boat floating on consciousness. You are a wave of consciousness. The navigator and the navigation are one. The creator and the river are the same substance. Your struggle was not against an external river. It was a civil war against your own infinite self. Good luck is not something you attract. It is what happens naturally when you stop fighting and allow your true self, the river itself, to flow through you, orchestrating the symphony of synchronicity. Your life ceases to be a struggle. It becomes a dance. Your question every morning is no longer, how do I survive the current? But, towards what magnificent destination do I choose to flow today? If this manual has dissolved your struggle and returned you to the flow of your power, we invite you to continue this navigation. Subscribe to our channel for more wisdom that reminds you of your fluid nature. Like this video as a declaration that you have let go of the oars. Share this forbidden knowledge with someone who is still rowing against the current. Thank you for your time, for your courage to let go of the struggle, and for the brave decision to become the river.